Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. We have a launch today. Yes, we have the NG-17 mission. Launching on an Antares 230 Plus from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at Wallops Island, Pad 0A. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now that's gonna happen in about 30 minutes. Here. That's going to be here in... okay. Yeah, the liftoff is scheduled for 12:40 or 17:40 UTC. So we got about 30 minutes here, which is pretty sweet. Let's just flip over here like this. Hello, how is everybody today? ISS resupply from Mars. That's right. That's right, man. I'll find my way back down there one of these days, John. If dude, I should have just, I don't know how I was going to do it in a couple feet of snow, but I should have gotten the truck ready. It rained here the last 2 days. There's no snow on the ground anymore, man. How did racing end? I came in 10th. I did okay. That's hard, man. Dude, it's tough. It's tough racing for that long. It's difficult. Fun. But, dude, I had fun. It made me love NASCAR more than I already do. Is that in North Carolina? No. Kuro, this is Virginia. Here, I'll show you. It's Wallops Island. So it's the very, very, very east coast of Virginia. Now, I know what people are thinking. What do you mean? They're launching from right here? No. Virginia is right here, see? Virginia goes out here. And Maryland's right there. And then Delaware's right here. Right? It goes out this way. Right there. Wallops is right here near Chincoteague Island right there. See? Antares launches from right there. Pad 0A. It's your eastern shore. Yeah. I know that whole eastern shore thing. We got a lot of that too up here. We got a lot of that too. We got a lot of that eastern shore thing. Nah, I got you. I still say, John, that people should launch from the National Seashore out here. You could make a prime launch site like right here. It'd be perfect. I think people might be too close. It's not a lot of room out there. But, yep. She's right in here. Wallops is a little bit different than the Cape, guys, because it's a wholly owned NASA facility. This is all NASA stuff. NASA uses it usually to test. There's a bunch of like sounding rockets and stuff, which is really cool. They have see, these are all small. Well, that one isn't. The small sat launchers are over here. And these are suborbital. See all this stuff right here? These are the launchers. The whole hangar moves, and the missile it's basically a bunch of missile stages that are just combined together, and they use it to launch stuff into the upper atmosphere. Some of these rockets, they're suborbital, but some of them get up to the height of the ISS. It depends on what they're doing. But that's what they primarily use Wallops for. They use it to test stuff. And they do it for the science. Yes, science. But it's cool. And at a time, hey, 26-month resub. It's cool because Wallops, actually since 2013, has had orbital launch capability. You can get to the ISS from here, and that's exactly where the Cygnus is going to go today. I live 5 hours away in New Jersey. I can't wait for Rocket Lab to start flying out of here. Yeah, that's where I was going with this. See this little dirt patch or gray patch right there? That's where Rocket Lab's new pad is. There's now 2 orbital launch sites. Oh man, the last time they imaged this was in 2016. There's 2 orbital launch sites now. There's one right next to it. Rocket Lab has another Electron launch site right here. The coverage is live. The system is down. Question, how close can you be to a launch? I like Wallops because you can be pretty damn close. I've seen launches from here. I watched the NG-11 mission go. That's the press site. You're a little bit under 2 miles away. It gets loud. It gets loud. I freaking wish that the truck's just it was under a pile of snow until a couple of days ago, so. Otherwise, I would have done it. Yeah, 2 miles, Kuro. Loud. Yeah, it's about as loud as you can get. About as loud as you can get, which is pretty cool. Anyway, that coverage should be starting up here. Oh man, I don't mean to distract from Antares, but also, how often are the launch windows for optimal ISS rendezvous? The ISS has a very highly inclined orbit. You can get to it from almost any launch site. So that's on purpose. The reason the ISS has a funky orbit is because, oh, baby. Man, that's pretty neat. The reason why it has a funky, I'm sorry. I've totally lost track of what... The reason why it has such a funky launch site, or funky orbit, is so you can get to it from any launch site. You can get to the ISS from Mid-Atlantic. You can get to it from the Cape. The Europeans can get to it from Kourou. The Russians can get to it from Baikonur or Vostochny, either one. Even the Chinese could get to it if, you know. But, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. They keep it in a weird orbit like that on purpose. Hey, yes, what's going on? I'm sorry, that was, that popped up and I'm like, ha ha ha, okay. Boop. Hey, Kyle's there. Alright, let's get the stream up here. Morning Pop, how are you? Could Japan get to it? Japan can get to it. They can launch the HTV. Here. So Japan has the HTV, and give me 1 second. I'll get you a picture. It's underrated, man. They don't really launch it that much, but they do resupply the module at the space station. Take a look. The HTV is freaking huge. It's really big, but the HTV is very interesting. Okay, it's very weird. It has a service module. Service module in the back. You can see the service module right there, and then you have an unpressurized cargo bay, a trunk that you can pull stuff out from the side in the center, and then you have the cargo bay, pressurized cargo bay up at the front. It's a very interesting design. Very, very Japanese, and I mean that in an endearing way. It's very different. It has a payload bay in it, it's like the shuttles, but it's unpressurized, it's like the shuttles too. No payload bay doors because it rides in a fairing, but yeah, very interesting design. Let's see, there it is. HTVs are big, man. That's like the size of a school bus. But it's kind of like Dragon, but yeah, a little different. I'm trying to find the live stream for this. Here we go. All right. Let's see what we got.
Will be us waiting for the main engines to burn, and that'll happen for approximately 100 seconds until our main engine cut off. And then once we get to the main engine cutoff, we'll go into a short coast right before we separate from stage 1 from stage 2, which we call the upper stack portion of Antares. After that, we'll continue to coast a little bit, and then about 30 seconds before starting that separation, and then we'll have an internal separation where the stage 2 flies out of the external upper stack. Once stage 2...
So, Antares is a 2-stage rocket here, guys. And it's actually really interesting because... Here, hold on. Let me go over here if they're going to put the thing over there. Antares is actually really interesting. So, the first stage has 2 Russian engines in it. There's 2 Russian engines down at the bottom that are working together. They're 2 RD-191s, but when they're working in conjunction with each other, it's called an RD-181. The Russian naming convention I still don't fully understand, but there's a reason. When they're working in tandem, they change the name. So there's 2 RD-191s down there, but when they're working in tandem, Energomash calls it a 181. Okay. And it's interesting because it's attached to the Antares core stage here. And the Antares core stage is actually a cut down Zenit booster. Antares is a shortened version of the side boosters from Buran Energia. Those boosters, the 4 side boosters that were on the Soviet space shuttle. It's that, but it's cut down. It's shortened a little bit because they didn't need the full booster. Now, Riding on top of that, you have an inner stage right here. And the inner stage has a ring right here. And the ring is where the payload adapter, the payload attachment fitting, and the fairing attachment point is, right? Inside of this, Cygnus is above here, inside of the fairing, the Cygnus capsule, which is like it's a service module with a pressurized volume in front of it. Basically a tin can with a service module attached to the front, or the back, excuse me. And then riding below that, underneath the payload attachment fitting, sitting inside of that inner stage fairing is a Castor 30XL solid rocket booster. That's right. Antares has a second stage SRB. It is vacuum optimized, so it has a vacuum nozzle on it. It's pretty good. A lot of people don't know that. There's a SRB riding in the second stage, riding as the second stage, but the SRB is a different diameter than the core stage, so it's actually riding inside of an inner stage. And they have a forward load reactor, kind of like Atlas V, and then the SRB is attached on an attachment fitting down here at the top of the stage. So there's a little SRB inside of there. Well, it's not little. It's like maybe the size of a smart car or something. It's not small. I've seen it. I've seen the thing. I've seen it. It's pretty. Here, I'm gonna do the boomer thing. Let me show you my photo album. Let me show you my photo album. Yes. It should be in here somewhere. Nope, that's too late. Pretty solid? Yeah, it's a pretty solid booster. There we go. Yeah, here, look. There's your boy. There's your boy looking at it on. There it is. See? See it right there? Yeah, it's pretty big. That's me and Jeb. Me and Jeb were looking at it. Please just click the link. I forgot if we posted that on the internet or anything, Thomas. So, yeah, here's the non-boomer way of looking at it. Ready? Boop. Yeah, me and Jeb. She's pretty big. But see, it's riding, there's the inner stage right there. It's riding inside of that, which is cool. It's really neat. Jeb does not approve, not enough boosters. That booster is plenty big enough for Jeb, okay? And also, yes, I am a very bold man. So, kind of Synode, yeah. But see, Kerbal doesn't have vacuum optimized nozzles for SRBs. But yeah, that would be about the same size. Kind of like a Hammer second stage. Yeah, that would be about right. More boosters. How big are American smart cars? Actually, it's a little bit bigger than a smart car, isn't it? That's about the size of a regular car. Or, well, it would be a mid-sized car for us, okay? Mid-sized car. Dude, I had the pleasure of going down to the Antares mission with Das, and man, is that thing cool. Antares is a cool little rocket for what it is. It's really, you wouldn't expect it. It packs a punch. Very loud. Not the SRB. We never heard the SRB. It was too far away. But yeah, you got a little SRB second stage. When we were down there, they let us into the HIF. I don't know why. Oh yeah, Thomas, I remember. Thomas, get the other picture. They let us into the HIF. They let the press into the HIF, and all the press crew were taking pictures. All the press crew were taking pictures of the rocket, and I went and me and Das just ended up talking to the engineers. This is like one of the only pictures we took. Not to flex, but I watched an Antares from a Cessna. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so we got, isn't it Xfinity today? Thomas, we got to find that picture, dude. Okay, we're 10 minutes out. Yep, people posting alien emotes. That's cool. So Antares is on the smaller side of rockets? Yeah. Yeah. It's not very big. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not small. It's a medium-duty rocket, so it's kind of synonymous with like Soyuz, right? Yeah, see, there you go. They roll it out on its TEL, transporter, erector, and launcher. They roll it out on the TEL on SPMTs. When I flex, it's just jiggly. Synerd, I don't think Antares can do 10. It's not even that. It's like halfway between a small sat launcher and halfway between like a medium duty. Yeah, it's like a Soyuz FG or something like that. It's a good rocket. It really is. It packs a punch for what it is. I'm telling you. You watch it when it goes. Thing's gonna go. Yeah, I came here. I think it's like at the bottom end of medium duty lifters. It's still good for what it is. Yeah, this is I mean, it's not bad for a hodgepodge. This is just so the Antares used NK-33 engines in the original configuration. They used NK-33s. NK-33s from the Soviet space program. Those engines were made for the N-1 rocket. And when I say made for the N-1 rocket, I mean Antares was launching with actual flight engines that were they were at one point attached to an N-1 rocket that when they canceled the program. They actually took these engines, refitted them, refurbished them, and started putting them on Antares, which is really cool. Antares had a bad day with one of them one time, so they stopped and they switched to the RD-181s, or the RD-181, which is cool, still cool. But Antares, the thing they learn about it is that it's just a bunch of extra parts. Seriously, this is low cost, off the shelf. That's what Orbital Science was going for when they made this thing. This is just a smaller Zenit core. You have literally leftover engines from the Soviet lunar program. And this Castor 30, I'm not sure where the Castor 30 came from, but I know it's an off-the-shelf thing. See, there's the Castor 30, there's the PAF. See if I got that right. My engine's right. Is that an RL-28? No. No, not at all. No, you're completely wrong. It's a G29, Joey. What's the T-minus? We're inside of 10 minutes. No. What's the payload? We're launching the Cygnus SS Pierre Sellers. It's a resupply capsule for the ISS. Cygnus is a really good design. Also, like, guys, I'm not just saying this because they're on the screen. I actually really like the Cygnus capsule. It's really smart. So they basically took an ISS module, right? And they took the shell of an ISS module, or the design of one, and they just attached a service module to the back of it. That's it. It's about as simple as you can get for a resupply vehicle. Literally open space with some small rockets attached to the back. Cygnus does not have the capability of docking. It berths to the ISS, so they grab it with the arm, which means it's even more simple. It's really, really smart. Cygnus, the downside, the Achilles heel of it, of Cygnus, is that it's not reusable. It's low. The entirety of Antares is supposed to be low cost. So, and they did. I mean, Antares can go toe to toe with. I wouldn't say it can go toe to toe with Falcon 9 nowadays, but when they started flying, it could go toe to toe with a Falcon 9 1.0. Maybe not Block 5. Block 5 would kind of. But see, everybody, when these two vehicles came about, they came about right at about the same time. They were pretty damn comparable to each other. The reason why these vehicles came about at the same time is because they were both part of commercial orbital transport services, which was part of the Constellation program. It was one of the parts of the Constellation program that didn't get canceled, and they kept going with it. The only other picture I found from NG-11 is this one. Oh, okay. There's a picture floating around. Yeah, here, take a look. There's a picture floating around, Thomas, and I have no idea where it is, dude. If you can't find it, then it's probably not on the internet. It's a picture of all the photographers and all the press that were taking pictures of the vehicle. And there's me and Das, and we're talking to the Northrop Grumman engineers. That's what I did. I went straight over to those guys, and I started picking their brains. And I'm like, is that... Like, they had a huge slab of concrete sitting, at the time, sitting on Antares. And I'm like... Or not sitting next to it. And I'm sitting there going... I'm like, is that a mass simulator? And he's like... The guy was like... The engineer that I was talking to, his ears perked up, and he went, yeah, it is. I'm like, are you using it to uprate Antares? And he's like, yes, I am. The guy was like, you speak rocket. I'm like, yeah. What's the uprated Antares? Tell me about it. And he's like, oh. The guy talked my ear off for like the next 20 minutes. And they showed me how they the concrete mass simulator, they were using it to test the interstage, they were using it to test load simulations on the interstage to make sure it could take the uprated Cygnus capsule. And dude, it was in that HIF. See the one with the American flag on it? It was in that integration building right there. The guys are like so into it. They're like, oh my gosh, you're not just taking pictures. I'm like, dude, I want to know everything about this. And he's like, yeah, that's the Castor 30. This is a cut down Zenit booster. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is dope. I love talking to these guys. I'm like, I could do this all day. Oh, Storm, yeah, I don't know about you. The race knocked you out? Dude, I slept great. Slept great last night. Freaking tired, man. My arms are sore. It's awesome. We should do that more often. What do you think Cygnus uses as an airlock for the... What do you think of using Cygnus as an airlock for a Hubble repair mission? It's doable. Sure. Move the camera, please. No, I'm not going to move the camera. No, you're just going to have to figure it out by looking at the screen. Okay, then. No, I'm just kidding. Here you go. So, yeah, Yep, there's the press site right there. 3 minutes out. All right, I'm going to shut up and...
FC command into flight mode.
Here we go.
T-minus 3 minutes. Auto sequence start. Podium bus voltages increase.
Less than 3 minutes until launch.
GNC-1, verify ready for nav mode.
LC GNC-1, orb nav ready for nav.
And Ops 2, step 435, switch to nav. LC Ops 2, switch to nav.
Orb nav telemetry verified.
Copy that. GNC-1, check 436, and passing T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
All right, I'm going to fast forward here. Make sure we're up to speed. Prepare to fast forward. Fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Chat is go. Yo, Mick, what's going on, dude? All right. Unmuting.
Until launch.
Just in time, dude. See this candle get lit off.
T-minus 1 minute.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Less than 1 minute until today's launch. At 40 seconds, tanks will be pressurized.
Okay. Mick, I had the pleasure of driving down to one of these launches, dude. See, there's some roads back over by that water tower over there. I had the Stang down there and freaking took pictures with the freaking rocket in the background, man. It's cool. Fun trip. But anyway, we're getting ready for a launch here.
T-minus 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah, dude, driving down to these is fun, man. Fun excuse for a road trip. Not that you need an excuse, but also. You know what I mean. you get it. When launch.
T-minus 15 seconds.
15. Here we go. You need to come visit, dude? You tell me when you're over here, man.
T-minus 10. 5, 4, 3,
Discovery, go at
Suppressors
throttle.
on.
1. We have engine ignition.
Yep.
And
Let it roll.
Launch vehicle from launch flight facility. Engines are at 100% thrust.
Okay.
Speed is nominal.
Everything looked real good there.
Excuse me.
And we have liftoff of the SS Piers Sellers carrying over 8,000 pounds of cargo to the International Space Station. Good performance on the first stage so far.
Steady at 100% thrust and nominal.
Look at the engine exhausts. They're rolling the rocket. Did you see that? The engine exhausts were
100%
doubled
thrust,
over like
nominal.
this. It's because they were rolling the thing. Is the slide on
About
purpose?
being a
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, Antares kind of does this off the pad on purpose.
Electrical power is nominal.
Everything continuing to look good on Antares.
Antares.
25,000 feet.
What's the TWR? Yes. Why does it do that slide?
Through max Q, attitude remains nominal.
It does the slide.
The first stage is now passing through max Q, the area of maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket.
Nice.
Now 90 seconds into today's flight of the Northrop Grumman Cygnus resupply cargo craft headed to the International Space Station.
It does that just in case of a failure, so it doesn't come back down on the pad. So,
NG-17 now.
like, if there's a problem right after
Remains
launch,
100%
it
thrust.
skews off the pad a little bit. So if something happens, it lands in the grass.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark of flight, everything looking good.
We actually saw that engineering work from the Orb 3 mission, but I don't want to talk
Nominal.
about that.
Power is nominal.
I'll tell you guys about that after this mission goes. I'm guessing it's not. No, not this one.
7,000 feet per second velocity.
This has a bunch of food in it. It's a resupply mission to the ISS. In a second here, Northrop Grumman will switch over to
Attitude remains nominal.
the telemetry views, and I'll show you what's going on. Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, there's the ISS order takeout, man. Absolutely.
Continuing to get good reports from the Range Control Center at Wallops.
Okay, everything's looking good.
Now 11,000 feet per second.
Man, that little Antares core goes, man. Look at it. She's still burning.
Power remains nominal.
I mean, I'd show you the time here, so
Beginning
take a
throttle
look.
down.
258. That's a 258
Orbital
core
Parameters.
stage burn. This thing launched at 42 past.
Now 3 minutes into today's flight, throttle down will occur 3 minutes into the flight, which means main engine
Pretty
cutoff
much,
will be
that's
coming
a
soon.
long burn for a core stage.
100% thrust.
They make it look easy, Rice. They really do. It's not, this stuff is not easy. Rapid pizza delivery. Dude, they actually have a
Pico.
pizza oven up there.
We
There's
have
engine
MECO,
cutoff.
or main engine cutoff, and Terry's now entering a coast stage.
Nice. So
Fairing separation will occur about 30
Watch.
seconds from now.
watch, they're gonna coast for a second. It'll
Stage
pop
one.
the interstage
separate.
fairing off, and then the Castor 30.
And as we lose sight of the vehicle, switching to our animation, there are some controlled firings of the interstage of the rocket. Everything
So, okay, all right. I don't mean to interrupt the NASA commentator, but this stuff is live telemetry. This is live, and this is what it's showing the RCS thrusters firing. Northrop Grumman doesn't give a frick. They just show the telemetry. There's fairing separation, and now you'll see the Castor 30 pop out. There it goes, and it's going to coast for a second. The reason why it's going to coast for a second is to time the SRB burn with orbital velocity. Yep, there we go. There we go. That Castor 30 XL has RCS on it, and it's gimbalable. It has a thrust vector nozzle, which is really freaking cool. And that's the kind of stuff that I learned from freaking picking the engineer's brain. But this is all live telemetry. There's your acceleration rate right here. This is total velocity here. We're at 4.37 kilometers a second. That thing needs to get around 7,600 for orbital velocity. We are 137 kilometers up, so a little bit under 100 miles, or about 80 miles up. Yep. Man, she's hauling. Look at that SRB. That little SRB is kicking butt, dude. Now that SRB is going to burn off nominal intentionally so that the burn coincides with a nominal insertion burn. Let me look at the orbital parameters. She's burning slightly... This would be slightly coplanar normal right here. So see how the inclination up here is going up, Synerd? 50.12 or 50.2. It's burning slightly off prograde. The reason is to get the right inclination. This one, that number for good insertion here needs to be 51.6 degrees inclined. What does that mean? What's 51.6 degrees inclined? If you took the orbit that Antares is trying to go in, right? It's tilted, like relative to Earth. If here's the equator, the orbit's kind of tilted. And if you looked at the point where it crosses the equator, it would be 51 degrees. That's one of the ways they calculate orbits around geocentric orbits around Earth. They use the equator as a marker to measure how tilted your orbit's in. So if you're in a 90-degree inclination, that means you're going like this, which means you're in a polar orbit. If you're 0 degrees inclined, that means you're following the equator. But this is great, man, because we got this is all live telemetry. This shows what the RCS is doing. Look, they have RCS on the payload attachment fitting here for roll control, because if you have one singular engine, you can't roll the vehicle. So they have RCS just compensating for it to make sure that it flies straight and make sure it doesn't spin. Yes, I know it might do that, but I don't think it will. Okay, there's flame out. 51.6
stage 2 burnout.
51.6 degrees inclined.
Stage 2 burnout confirmed. Cygnus has reached the preliminary orbital insertion.
312 by 180. Perfect. That's perfect. Right in the pipe. Excellent.
The next major event will be Cygnus's
Attitude remains nominal.
separation from the second stage, which will occur at about the 8-minute 51-second mark.
Yep. Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, burning slightly radial in, Synerd, yes. Yeah, to get the right insertion. Yeah, they burn slightly radial in. Yeah, it points down, it doesn't nosedive.
Everything's still performing as expected now 7 minutes into today's launch.
So that's the direction that it's going, and this is the direction of the vehicle. Now the RCS for separation is going to get this red line lined up with the green line, and then they'll separate the capsule. You never want to separate when the vehicle is kind of flying sideways, because bad stuff can happen. You're still running into a little bit of aerodynamic drag up there, even up at the altitude that it's at. It's 186. So this thing's 51.64 degrees inclined. Like I said, you're looking for about 7,600. We're at 7.54 right now. Now, the reason why that's not exactly where you want to go is because they don't want the SRB going into space and staying up there. You're in a decaying orbit right now. So the SRB will eventually burn up and come back down. What they're going to do is they're going to separate the Cygnus capsule right now, and the Cygnus thrusters will finish out that 600 meters a second. It'll circularize up at around 320 by 320, so a 320 kilometer circular orbit at 51 degrees inclined, and then it'll do a couple of more phasing burns over its mission to get to the ISS.
Vehicle attitude remains nominal.
Did you get it, Chuck? Did you get a picture of it? Did I read that right? 35 meters a second per second is about 1 G? No, 9.81 meters a second per second is 1...
And we have payload separation.
Is 1 G. Yep, see, look.
Spacecraft separation confirmed. Cygnus now well on its way to the International Space Station.
Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. Another good mission from Antares. What a good rocket. I love that thing. It's dude.
Stage 2 attitude is nominal.
You have a Ukrainian core stage with Russian engines on it, with an American SRB as the second stage, and a commercial resupply vehicle as the payload. It's just a hodgepodge. I love it. It's really cool. Penta, I'm great. Everything's great, man. That thing was great.
See the excitement in the room there as some celebratory fist bumps and high fives take place following today's successful launch.
Doctor, chat.
And Prop 1LC, countdown 1. Can you verify helium pulse purging is in progress?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. No problem.
Copy
Thomas.
that. And Prop 2, can you verify HPGN2 supply line post-launch purging?
LC Prop 2, GN2 line pulse purging is in progress.
The other thing is that Northrop Grumman tells you everything. We're listening to an open comm loop. It's funny. They straight up don't care. Like, what you're listening to...
We'll look for confirmation from them.
What you're listening to there is them purging liquid oxygen out of the pad. GN2.
Site control, step 449. Can you remove aft bay GN2 flow and reconfigure ECS for post-launch?
Aft bay GN2 flow is off. ECS reconfigured for post-flight.
ECS is environmental control
We had a
missions.
successful launch of...
So they were talking about GN2, gaseous nitrogen. I think they were safing the pad, and then he talked about the environmental control systems. It must have been pad environmental control systems on the loop that we were hearing there. But yeah, they don't care, dude. They show their telemetry. They show all of it. Like, no one does this. This is just a live shot of their telemetry. Like, you had mission elapsed time, you had phase of the mission, apogee, perigee, inclination degrees. The acceleration rate is 26.9 meters a second there. So that's 3 Gs, 3G acceleration. SRBs, man. And you know what? That's a light ride. That's a light ride for a launch vehicle, believe it or not. If you could put a capsule up here, this would actually be a pretty smooth ride up into space. Falcon 9, the space shuttle, get above 4 Gs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they get above 4 Gs. You need to go fast, and you need to go fast quick, or you're coming back down quick. Was it them who had the Verizon call or something like that? That's right, Metroid. Yeah, they straight up don't care. I love it. They show everything, man. It's so cool. I know. Yeah, but you see, it's literally just the telemetry program. We're literally seeing what these guys are seeing on the consoles, and that's freaking awesome. That's so neat. I love that they do that. I wish everyone would do that so I can explain what the hell's going on.
You can stop telemetry archiving at the DCOM.
Also,
you can stop MCC telemetry display server distributor logging, and you can stop the G2 telemetry recording.
Cygnus hat.
root, and work.
Root.
When complete.
Also, Cygnus hat. Cygnus hat. Cygnus hat. Yeah, I got a Cygnus hat. Do you have a Cygnus hat? Look, it's got solar panels so I can charge. Cygnus hat. Love Cygnus hat, man. I told you to put that on before the launch.
And if you're just joining us, the Northrop Grumman Antares rocket lifted off on time from the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia from Launch Pad 0A at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Space.
Of course I am, Ghost Mooner.
11:40 a.m.
Bro, what the hell do you think this is? Of course I'm a dork.
Coming up in a few hours will be solar.
What do you want from me, man?
We will be covering solar array deployment live on air, but we will provide updates via our blog and social media.
Who you trying to fool, man?
Again, it was a perfect ride to orbit. Cygnus now well on its way to the International Space Station with 8,300 pounds of food, fuel, and supplies on board.
Metroid, Northrop Grumman's the one who gave this to me. Yeah, they gave it to me. They're like, here, have this Cygnus hat. I'm like, yes. Yes, I will. You know what we should do? Somebody said it in chat. We should see if we can get actual solar cells and put solar cells on this thing and put like a wire so it can charge your phone. Cygnus hat that actually charges. That would be awesome. That's actually a really good idea. Put some solar cells on this and make a hat that actually charges your phone. It wouldn't be much power, but hey, it's better than nothing. Cygnus hat, bro. Cygnus hat. Say it with me, chat. Cygnus hat. Okay. You speak rocket? Dude, I'm telling you, that's what happened. The guy was like, the Northrop Grumman engineers, they were all sitting over there on the side like, great, we gotta let the press in, lovely. And I went over, I'm like, excuse me, gentlemen, is that a mass simulator right there? And they all went, huh? Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. I'm like, can you talk? Can you tell me about this? I want to learn about this. And they're like, yes, yes we can. And I'm like, please feed me. I'm telling you, Agapedia, like, it's one of those times where you take a snapshot. The guy, all the engineers went, what? You know what that is? I'm like, yeah. No, they were into it, Thomas. They were, dude. The press people were like, okay, everybody's got to go. We got to go set up remotes. And the guys were still explaining things. And I'm like, dude, I want to stay here. And they're like, hold on here. So it's got to do this, this, this. I'm like, I'm just sitting there going, yes, yes. Hey, that place looks familiar. Oh, they changed the screens. Dude, Badger was awesome. That mass simulator was like, it was a concrete, it was a Cygnus capsule that was made out of concrete. Who told you about the mass simulator? I knew what it was, Blue. I knew what it was, man. Dude, I'm a freaking loser. Like, of course I knew what it was. Like, that's the best way I could describe it, man. Freaking loser. Like, I love reading about this stuff. I love doing it all day. I don't care. And, you know, like, that's the best part, dude. I don't care what people think. I really don't. I love rockets. They're freaking awesome, dude. Got a picture of the simulator? I think I do. Lying around somewhere. Here, check this out. This is the ISS mission control. So this is all the control systems for all the different pieces on the ISS. Right here, you can see where the ISS is, and you can see its 51-degree inclined orbit. See that right there? 51 degrees inclined, and if the keen-eyed of you will notice that the orbit just passed over Virginia a second ago. The ISS was over Virginia about 15 minutes ago. And that's exactly where Cygnus launched. About 15 minutes ago, right there. See that? And Cygnus flew due south, well, southeast, out of Virginia, right there. And Cygnus is right there on the map. You can see it right there. See the icon? It's going to catch up to the ISS. We know it's going to catch up to the ISS because it was in a 320 by 180 slightly off circular orbit. It was slightly eccentric. Cygnus will do that burn to circularize its orbit at about 320, maybe even 320 by 400, and it'll catch up to the ISS in a couple of days. If you're wondering what all this other stuff is, well, the part that's dark shows that where daylight is and nighttime is. All of this stuff over here are the Russian ground tracking stations. Over here is showing one of the TDRS satellites coverage. That's what anything that's yellow is communications. White is the orbits. And then there's a couple of other things on here. That's where you can see where the sun is right there. They have that marked for some reason. Probably for solar panels if I had to guess. And then these three lines are the ISS. The ISS's current, previous, and future orbit. If you notice, the orbit shifts. It shifts a certain amount of degrees longitude every time. It's because the Earth is spinning underneath the ISS. That's why the orbit kind of moves across. What's that middle white circle? That right there is representative of what the ISS can see, that visual. This right here is the South Atlantic Anomaly, SAA. If you know what that is, you know. And if you don't know, I'll teach you. So how hungover is Brimo? She's fine, Gaw. That girl's weird, man. She doesn't get hungover. It's very strange. She gets like white girl wasted, and then the next day she's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, how do you do that? What is the SAA? Well, there's this thing that's going around Earth. There's this thing that's going around Earth called the magnetic field. The magnetic field is what basically keeps us from frying like a peep in a microwave. And if you look, one of those bands on the magnetic field I mean, this is a graphic, so it's not exactly right. One of those bands on the magnetic field is down here. The South Atlantic anomaly, you got to be careful because, once again, you fly through it, you're flying through it. Your compass will basically go bananas when you go through there. But one of the bands of Earth's magnetic field kind of hits the atmosphere right there. I don't know. I'm not exactly 100% sure why it's just that area, but that's kind of how it do be. Save the peeps. Oh, Euckerman, it's almost Easter, man. Can't save the peeps. Yep. Yeah, it's important. This is kind of interesting. An interesting thing while we're talking about magnetic fields. Check this out. So you have the geographic North Pole, right, which is literally the direct top of Earth, right? And then you have the magnetic North Pole. Magnetic and geographic are two different things. Believe it or not, Earth's magnetic field kind of moves around a little bit. It moves like this. And the magnetic pole, magnetic north and south, they do shift. It's important to keep track of that because, you know, your compass, the compass thing, that whole, you know, pointing at due north, yeah, it probably should keep track of that. Airplanes use compasses to find runways and amongst other things. Yeah, you should probably keep track of how much that pole shifts. And it's very interesting because when that pole shifts around, it does screw with the weather. It's actually that's really neat. I thought that was really cool. I thought a compass points north because Canada had a bunch of magnets up there. I mean, well, it's not Canada's magnets, it's Earth's magnets. How do they work? SpaceX just pushed to Monday. Wait, that's still my day off. Damn it. Earth's core is not homogeneous and has some not-so-liquid zones beneath this region. As it is the nucleus that creates the magnetic field, so there is something not very regular. Yeah, that's right, Milhey. That sounds correct. I mean, guys, you know, we call it terra firma, right? We call it Earth, solid ground, right? The thing about Earth is it's like a giant jello mold just rattling through space, so stuff moves around. Earth's very jiggly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's very jiggly. Did you find the photos? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is. Here, I'll show you guys that picture. So, like, the magnetic field moves around a little bit. The tectonic plates move around a little bit. It's wild, man. Wild stuff. So Earth is thick. She do be thick, RB. She be very thick. Oh, yeah. I'm serious. It's giant jello mold. I hate jello. Oh, come on, man. There's always room for jello. And, yeah, like I was saying, here, we'll get to that picture in a second. Like I was saying, the magnetic field moving around screws with the weather. That's why some winters are like worse. I mean, amongst other reasons. There's 1,000 different reasons. It's never one thing. It's always compounding, right? But the magnetic field moving around can screw with winds and stuff, and it can screw with the polar vortex. Dude, I have buddies that are meteorologists that I'll have them on stream sometime, and you guys can learn about it. It's nuts. It's just like, okay. It'll kind of give you some respect for the weatherman because, yeah, predicting the weather is not easy. You could be pretty sure, but just like rockets, you can never be like 100% sure, you know? If Earth is jiggly, then what is Jupiter? Gaseous. Jupiter's very gassy. Yeah, Avidus, it's really interesting stuff, man. But yeah, here, check this out. So here's the pictures. I don't know, was this NG-11? I mean, everything is in the right spots. That's where it was during NG-11. This was NG-11? Yeah. So see? Cygnus-sized mass simulator right there. I walked right over to that and I'm like, huh. That's not for a foundation, is it? And the guys are like, no, it's not. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the one you showed before. Yeah, there's like a wider shot of this picture, and see the guys in the blue lab coats? Those are Northrop Grumman engineers. There's one of them right there. Do you think there'd be one of them for all these people? No. If we could see just off the side of this picture, you'd see me and Das, and all the engineers. There's like 4 or 5 of them. We were talking to them about the mass simulator and stuff. Dude, they were into it. They were like, oh my God, people are actually asking us pertinent questions. Yeah. See, they wouldn't have one engineer for like 40 people in the press. No, they were all. I just hogged all of them. I'm just like, nah. I want to learn. I want to learn, man. Let's go. Like, that picture is cropped. I've seen this picture before. It's cropped. If you could see the wide picture, yeah, freaking, it'd be pretty funny. Let me see if I can find it. Nah, I don't have it. But Boomer's here again. There's me with a mass simulator. See? Come on, focus you. See? I just walked right over to that. I'm like, no, that's a yeah. Let's be honest, the engineers, 251, they wanted to talk to us. Yeah, they didn't, dude, I'm telling you, like, they were like, you gotta go, and they're like, no, listen to this, you'll like this is cool. I'm like, yes, I will. Yes, I will like this. Awesome. But yeah, anyway, if you're just tuning in, there was a Cygnus launch, Cygnus on Antares, launched great. Everything looks good. It's coasting up to the ISS. It'll be there in a couple of days. Weather's pretty accurate if you use the Weather Channel app. It's an entire network that does nothing better. Oh, boy. Yeah. I mean, Rice, I don't know where you're from, man. They don't get the weather right. The other day, they said it was going to be 50 degrees out, and it snowed. Like 6 inches. And then they were like, yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry. I'm like, oh, thanks. That's what we needed. More snow. I love this. Other than the obvious of being mass, what is the simulation for? Why concrete? Just a cheap material that's heavy? Yep. Pretty much. It's just rocks and sand, man. And gravel. The engineers probably share the same story. Yeah, Astro, they were probably like, yeah, one time we had a guy that actually, was interested in the rocket, didn't want to just take pictures of it. I mean, I'd like to think that, dude, but who knows. Send the snow to California. No. Okay. Oh, wow. Here, take a look. NASA Spaceflight posted the view, and this is the view from the press site. Take a look at this, guys. This might be loud, okay? I'm just going to tell you real quick. This might be loud, okay? I don't know if it is, but it might be. So just, you've been warned.
We have ignition and liftoff of the Antares rocket with the NG-17 mission and thousands of kilograms of science and supplies for the International Space Station.
Wait for it. Not that loud. That doesn't do the press site justice, man. It is loud. Like front row at a Foo Fighters concert loud. I've done both of those things. It is equally as loud. Yeah, this is about as close as you can get to a rocket launching. You cannot get, they never let you get this close at the Cape. The reason why is that because Wallops is just a NASA facility, And I'm talking about for press. Like, this is how close the press can get. You can still get pretty close as... So, like, how I like to describe it to people is that regular folks can get as close to the rocket as the press gets at KSC. Okay? The press gets to be where the security personnel are at the Cape, at Wallops. So the press are super close, and then regular people can watch from, like, different places around Wallops, and you can get, like, 2 to 3 miles away from the rocket. The closest spot you can watch a launch at the Cape is not that close. It's Wallops lets you get real close. I tried to see it in Northern Virginia. I mean, guys, this was launching on the descending node. It went southeast. So, yeah, hard to spot. If it went northeast, I would have probably gone outside because I would have seen it. Shaw, it really depends on the pad. It depends on the pad at the Cape, but yeah, usually around, like, well, the closest ones that I can think of is when you watch on the causeway. The causeway is the ITL causeway is really close. So Das and I watched Falcon Heavy from, like, right here with Big D and Space Pad and Popsky and a bunch of other people. We watched it from the ITL that's CCAFS causeway. There's the CCAFS causeway, and then there's the ITL causeway. That's the Integrate Transfer Launch causeway right there. And then the NASA causeway is right here. ITL causeway is the closest you can get to a lot of different pads. So for press. So, like, if you're looking at a Falcon 9 launch from 40, it's 3 miles away. 3 miles away is where regular folks, like non-press people, can go for Antares. You can see it from the old ferry port in Virginia. There's an old ferry dock that's just south of Wallops Island, and you could get about that close. The ITL causeway is closed for Delta 4 missions because you're way too close. You watch from the Air Force Station causeway here, which is 3 miles away. And then the KSC press site is right here for 39A. It's still 3 miles away. And then the Saturn V viewing center right there is 3.3 miles away from the pad. Yeah, you keep your distance down at the Cape. I don't know, 251. Let me go take a look. The ferry dock, like I said, it's close. That's the cool thing about Wallops, is that you can get close to it. That's one of the best parts about Mid-Atlantic. You can see it from anywhere. And it's relatively flat, right? So the press site is right there. And the pad is right there. So it's just 2 miles away. I mean, Das and I, when we were there, we looked at it from right there at Arbuckle Neck. So it's about 2 miles away. I'll give you the kilometers for the European viewers. 3.3. That's really freaking close. That's really close for an orbital rocket. The ferry terminal, where is it? 251. It's the old ferry terminal's right there. There's an old dock for, like, looks like something that would receive, like, a steamboat or whatever. The old ferry terminal's right there, and it's awfully close. Yeah, it's about the same distance, actually, now that I'm looking at it. 2.16. Yeah, that's really close. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah. So, yeah, this is all part of Goddard, I think it's Goddard Space Flight Center. And then NASA has a lot of stuff up here at this old Air Force base. Actually, this is a Naval Air Station, if I'm remembering right. It's a kind of halfway used, not used Naval Air Station. Here, you want to see something cool? The Navy uses this facility every once in a while. You want to see what it's for? Who knows what that is? Oh, nice, yes. Yeah. Carrier landing practice. Yep, that's a carrier deck painted on a runway. And you can see right where the second and third wire is where all the skid marks are. Yep, call the ball. See, they have an OLS attached to this runway. You see it right there? It's supposed to mimic a carrier deck. So, yeah, see, NASA Wallops. Contact NASA Wallops Tower on 126.5. One time, see that little turn right there? One time, Das and I and a bunch of other people did a live stream from here, plane watching. And we used DAS's P1000, and we were able to see a 747 at 30,000 feet flying this way. It was going from London to Florida. We could peep the thing, which is really cool. We did a plane watching stream from right there. And then they were landing E2s, which is really, really cool, actually. What else we got here? It's P3. Wow. What is that? A little... Oh, yeah, no, C-130. It's just missing some parts. And then dump trucks. Oh, another cool thing is that... here, let me show you. Over here. See this cul-de-sac? Check this out. Ready? Oh, that's the most updated picture, so it's not... Yep, okay. Rocket Lab's new factory is right over here. Believe it or not. Wallops has its own small fleet of planes for science. Yep. Yeah, they're over... I don't know what facilities are still used here. I'm going to go ahead and guess that that one's probably used. Rocket Lab has a factory for building electrons and stuff right here. They built it. It's right in there. They demolished that cul-de-sac, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and this is all an old naval air station. You could see that there was base housing and stuff all right here. What's in the sack? You can't look in there. It's not for you. Just stay away from it. It's not for you. Only one active runway left. Yeah. It's alright. And then there's Chincoteague Island, which is cool. I'm probably not saying that right, but... Dude, it's like... Chincoteague Island reminded me of Cape Cod. Also, wasn't able to see much today, but there's the contrail. Alright, man. Yeah. John, you ever been to Chincoteague Island? Chincoteague Island? You ever been out here? I liked Chincoteague Island. It was nice. No? Dude, it's like literally out in the middle of nowhere. Like, yeah, you got to drive across all this stuff here. And it's kind of cool because this road was redone. I think ACOE redid this road, right? And you can see where the old road was and the old bridge, and they demolished it and built this new causeway here, right? And you could, if you take a look right there, you look where the footings are. The old road and the old bridge used to do this. It used to go this way, right? This is all super shallow water, dude, so it's not... Yeah, you could just... These causeways are everywhere. And you can see that the old bridge used to go right there. And when they demolished the old bridge, these people still needed to get to their houses, so they made this... They made that... It's interesting. It's a traffic intersection in the middle of the ocean. They're known to horse around, yeah, right? But yeah, then they built this new causeway out here, and they connected it in here. And you could tell that this was, like, fitted after the fact. It's some real city stuff, which is cool. Imagine not getting along with your neighbor there. Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. It's pretty sweet. And then if you go to the south end of Chincoteague Island here, and I'm probably not saying the name right, there's the terminal right here. And that also has a really good view of the pad. You can see the pad from here. And then, we didn't do this because I don't think you can drive out here. I never checked, though. You could drive out to the shores, and if you have an off-roader, if you have a four-wheeler, you could drive down here and you could watch it from there, which is pretty cool. Sometimes that's closed, though. And, I mean, Wallops is very close to that. Where's the pad? Right there. I mean, it's one of the few times where you can see the rocket launching like kind of from the side, like Salcom. Remember not the Salcom. Remember the transporter missions? That shot from Falcon from the side a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, pretty good stuff, man. Pretty good stuff. Good launch. All right, so that's gonna do it for the launch coverage. Did I not miss not a launch? Mr. Whippy. Hell yeah, Avidus. Right on. Yeah, I remember that place. We didn't go in, but it was closed when we were there because NG-11 was a little while ago. That means I did not miss everything else but launch. What? Yeah, whatever you do, just wash your hands. Brimo's here.
I am.
How you feeling?
Like crap.
You okay?
I'm fine. I'm just hungover.
I was just telling him how you don't get hungover.
Today I'm like, just put me in bed and let me sleep, but I need to do laundry.
Oh, damn adulting.
I know. I need you to go with me to the dealer Wednesday morning.
What? Why?
We have to drop my car off.
Okay.
For the engine light.
You guys want to hear something ridiculous? The check engine light on her car came on because it wanted us to do an oil change because the thing yells at you if you don't change the oil every 2,500 miles. 2,500 miles. So we let it go to like 3,000, and then so it knocked the check engine light on. So, wait, did they change the oil?
Yeah, they did.
They did change the oil, and they're like, "Oh, your check engine light." I'm like,
"Do you have an OBD reader to check it? Like, or do you?"
We can go get one.
Yeah. Would you rather do? I mean, she was like, "You're gonna have to leave it here, so somebody's gonna have to come with you to drive you back, and like, the tech has to look at it, and so if you want to check it."
I'm gonna check it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't clear the damn light. Reset time sensitive settings. Yeah, see, Mick knows. The dude, she went to the dealer and they had somebody that could do an oil change, and they were like, "No,
we don't have anybody that can check your.
We don't have anybody who can mess with the check engine light." I'm like, are you don't have anybody that can literally do the equivalent of plugging in a USB port and hitting the clear button. I'm like, oh my God. I'll just get an OBD sensor. I'll do it myself.
All right. I mean, we could do that tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
Because because the other thing is like, well, you have to drive it for 50 to 100 miles before the light will go off, too. So part of me is like, maybe if we just drive it around tomorrow, it'll be like.
I hate new cars. I hate them so much.
So.
That's part of the job. That's what I said, Mick. I'm like, are you serious? They have somebody that can change the oil on a. It's a Mondeo, all right. So it's a 2020 Mondeo. It's called a Fusion over here. Like, you have somebody that could take that whole freaking thing apart, but can't plug an OBD2 sensor in. Are you freaking serious right now? Brimo was texting me during the launch, and I'm like, oh my God. And Mick, I don't want to do the work on the car because it's a lease.
Yeah.
But I'm not, dude. No. No. I'll take care of it.
We'll do that tomorrow.
See, yeah, no. Dude, I'm telling you, OBD2 sensors are literally like plug in the USB port, hit read the code.
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
It'll pop the code up and hit clear. It's supposed to be idiot proof.
Right.
I'll teach you how to read codes.
I was so talking to somebody else who was like that your oil, like needing an oil change wouldn't have made that light go on because that light is like other stuff that has nothing to do with oil. But
I'll read the codes. hopefully it's nothing else. But the motor's fine.
The car's not even 2 years old and it's barely gone anywhere.
Go to the server settings and reset to 0%. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, no. I'll...
And the thing is, chat...
Well, bright, shiny OBD2 stuff is all across any car. Every car has to have that. It's not just Ford.
Here's the other thing, chat. I need a state inspection sticker so I don't get pulled over, and I can't get a state inspection sticker with my check engine light on.
Yeah. They wouldn't do the MOT with the check engine light on. That they couldn't reset, but they changed the oil.
I hate everything. I already despise state inspections because I come from a state where that's not a thing. Yeah. And now it's just made life even harder.
Yeah, Mick, where Brimo's from, there's no MOT. You can just drive around. You can drive around a car with 3 wheels. Nobody cares. Even new focuses, when you replace the brake pads, you have to plug in and reset the pad percentage. Oh, man. Mick, this is why the newest car that I own is from 2008. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. That car's nice, 2.0 all-wheel drive. Yeah. It's a nice car. It really is, but...
But my oil's changed. Yeah. So...
Interesting, Crafty. I didn't know that.
What?
Teslas don't have OBD2.
Oh.
Interesting. Engine swap time, it's a lease. I'm not touching it. Dude, the only thing I can plug into my car is a cigarette lighter. I'll take the 97 Ford, thank you very much. It's not, now don't get me wrong, that ain't a comfortable ride. The 97 truck, Mick, is about as good as the Disco. It's not that good of a ride. But you know what, man? That don't matter. That's the future, sir. I'm telling you. Yeah, nah. Hard pass, bro. I'll take my 69 Coronet. We'll just fix that and make that into a freaking drivable car.
I was just gonna do laundry, and my head is telling me yes, and my stomach is telling me no.
It's 1:30. You have time. Get her done. I mean, get her done relaxed, and then get her done later.
Maybe.
Why lease? We needed a car in a pinch, because Brimo needed to commute to work. Because she changed jobs.
At the time, I wasn't making enough money to buy anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we needed a car in a pinch, so we figured just get a really nice car and lease it for a little while. And honestly, it just sat. When COVID hit, it's just been sitting there. We don't drive. It has 8,800 miles on it. Yeah. 8,800.
It's yeah.
It has nothing. There's nothing on the Odo, and it's yelling at you about oil changes, and the check engine light is on. Yeah, okay. Well, Rice, that's what I mean. Brimo was the idea is that we were gonna save money, and we'll get rid of the lease, and we'll buy a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Pasquale. Yeah, it yelled at us before about changing the oil. The ticker goes to like 3,000 miles or something.
Well, the ticker goes there, and then it also is based on time. So even though the car is set for a year and a half, it's still.
But see that's true. You got to change the oil even if it's been sitting. It's not just engine operation time. That actually is true, and that's probably what the engine light is. It's probably just telling you that you needed to change the oil.
Yeah. All right, baby.
All right, sweetheart.
I love you.
Love you too, baby. So if you leave a new car unused, it'll still throw up an engine check. See, that's Mick's ballpark. He knows all about this stuff. So.
Yeah.
How long is it okay for the oil to sit? Honestly, boring. I don't know. Mick probably has a better answer for you. Mad Ford. He streams working on this stuff in real life. He's an auto mechanic that streams. Yeah, shameless plug for Mick. Go follow him if you want to learn about cars. He knows his stuff. He's damn good, man. He works on cars through a YouTube channel called Drive Tribe. Drive Tribe is owned by James May, Jeremy Clarkson, and Richard Hammond. Mick knows his stuff.
Yeah, we'll get an OBD tomorrow and...
Yeah. Well, AutoZone can actually do it for free.
Oh, can they?
They'll plug it in for free. We don't need to buy anything.
Oh, then
They'll give you a free diagnostic.
Screw it, we'll go tomorrow. And
all right, cool.
We don't have to worry about Wednesday, because I wasn't looking forward to being up at 9 to go to 9:30. So.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right, sweet. So, I don't know about you. Boring. I changed the oil. So, like, most of my cars, because, like, guys, I don't really commute anywhere, and Brimo has her car, and that's what we drive in the winter. We drive the Fusion around. Literally, all 4 of my cars are basically parked. I don't drive them because I don't want the salt ruining them. The Coronet already has holes in it. I don't want to ruin that car any more than it already is. The 59, I'm not driving that in the snow. I just fixed it. Not driving that one in the snow. The F-250, we could probably get away with it, but I have to winterize it first. It's a California truck, and there's a lot of bare metal on it. Well, not bare metal, but it hasn't been winterized. So part of what I'm going to do is when the weather gets a little bit nicer, I'm going to take the bed off again and get on the back of the frame and just coat everything with... I like using engine paint on the frame. It works pretty well. You don't want to use the rubberized stuff. And Mick, I don't know if you have the same problem. You don't want to use the rubberized stuff because the rubberized stuff can trap water in it and rust stuff from the inside out. Dude, they need to do more than a code reset. They need to go into settings and change time-sensitive settings. All right, Mick, I'll buy an OBD2 sensor. Why not? I'll just buy one. I'll write it off. I'll stream working on it. Write the damn thing off. Yeah, it holds the water. Yeah, exactly. I like to use engine enamel, like engine paint on frames. That's what I like doing. But yeah, I end up because the cars are all garaged through the winter. Like the Mustang is parked outside, the 97 is parked in my buddy's construction lot, and the 59 and the Coronet are at my parents' house. I change the oil on everything in the spring. I usually don't let it sit for very long. And I'm usually, like I said, I change the oil on the cars 3,000 miles. It really depends. It depends on the weight, it depends on the viscosity of the oil, it depends on what type of engine it is. Like, there's a lot of stuff that has to do with it. It's always more complicated than it seems, you know? I saw that YouTube video. Tell you need a car for 2 days undercoating and secretly put in a supercharger. I don't know what you're talking about, Finn. I love this backdrop. Thanks, Mikey. Yeah, it's my little mission control here. But yeah, I still have us titled for the Antares launch, but we're gonna move into Minecraft now. I want to play some Minecraft. Sunday morning or Saturday mornings, I always play a little bit of Minecraft. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Mick, we'll figure that out, dude. I'll keep you in the loop. Tell you what's good. Just call me if you need help. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, man. Will do. If you leave the engine light for longer than 2 drive cycles, which is about 100 miles, it can derate or put you into limp mode. It hasn't done that yet, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, Arbalest, I mean, so, like, okay, real quick, why is it important to change the oil in the car? Well, we were talking about tolerances on stream the other day. So, the engine, a car's engine has a lot of moving parts. There's pistons that are going up and down, there's valves that are opening, there's camshafts that are spinning, there's timing chains that are spinning on gears. All that stuff is metal on metal, okay? Metal on metal creates a lot of friction. Now, don't get me wrong, metal on metal, like, if you just do this a couple of times, it's not going to create a lot of heat. But you got to remember, all these moving parts are moving very fast. Even if the engine's idling, the piston's still going up and down. What an engine does is it hits, when the piston is like in the upward position inside of the cylinder, it sprays oil on the cylinder wall. So when it comes back down, it keeps that surface all lubricated so the metal doesn't wear. I mean, engines still generate a ton of heat from the combustion process, and not so much from friction because of the oil, but there needs to be like a film of oil that all these surfaces need to ride on, kind of like a skating rink. Like, if anybody here's a hockey fan, you know what the Zamboni does to resurface the ice, right? So you have a nice smooth surface to skate on. Any hockey players around? It's the same idea as that. The engine's constantly splashing oil on all the moving parts to make sure that they don't wear out. And the oil basically gets, the chains of hydrocarbons in oil get thinner over time. So like if that oil is like squeezed into a tolerance in like between a piston and the cylinder wall, it squeezes the hydrocarbon, and the hydrocarbons eventually break down. When they break down, they don't lubricate as well. If they don't lubricate as well, your engine will wear out. You can warp a cylinder. So like if this is where the piston is going up and down and the engine overheats, the cylinder walls will do this. They'll start to warp because of the heat, and then you get what's called blow-by, and then the engine's screwed. You're really screwed. So the oil, you have to change it, or else the surfaces will wear over time. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to do it. Most engines can run with a little bit of blow-by. It's going to be down on power, and you'll wear out the components, and the engine will basically croak faster. Depending on what the severity of the code is, disconnecting the battery may clear it. Yeah. Disconnect the battery, RB. Literally the car equivalent of turning it on and turning it back off again. Or turning it off and turning it on again. Pollution in the oil, metal, carbon builds up in the oil. Yep, exactly. I mean, the other thing to take into account, fellas, is that some of these components just wear anyway. Metal components wear out. They do. They wear out over time. You know, it happens. Old cars generally are down on power because it's just worn out. It's tired. It degrades with use. No, it won't. It's on an EEPROM in the ECU. Oh, no. It's on an EEPROM, so it's hard-coded. Oh, that's lovely. EEPROMs. EEPROMs. What decade is it, man? Anybody in tech? Anybody here work in the tech industry? EEPROMs on cars in 2022. Good call. Hard-coded stuff on cars in 2022. Oh, man. Old, worn out, and tired. Sounds like you. I think you're projecting. That sounds like you. You're the one that complains all the time. But then again, no. Or the modern equivalent. Yeah, Mick, yeah, I know. The point that I'm getting at, dude, is that car technology is always like 10 years behind the curve, because with cars, you have to find a way to mass produce it, and then you have to find a way to make it so it doesn't break when the car goes over a bump. There you go, Altio. I'm old school, you know that. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could plug in an OBD2 sensor, or on the coronet, give me a screwdriver, and I'll be able to do the same things. You can tune old cars with a screwdriver. That's it. All you need is a screwdriver. Screwdriver and a timing light. You're good to go. You tune a whole thing. EEPROM used for different applications in 2022. Yeah. Yep. It's how, yeah, Crafty, yeah. No, I know. I'm super right to repair, dude. The car is mine. The car's mine. I bought it. It's not yours. You don't get to say what I do with my car. Give me Cummins any day, bro. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Mick, there's a guy that lives across the street from my apartment complex, and he has an old Dakota, the 6BT Cummins in it. I heard him drive up one day. I'm like, stop the car. He's like, whoa, what's up? I'm like, that's a 6BT Cummins I hear, isn't it? And he's like, yes, it is. I'm like, nice. And the guy's like, yes, it is. I'm like, dude, that's sick. And things just did a freaking burnout down the street. Mick, did I ever tell you this story? Here. No, Mick, I want to tell you the story. I've told chat this story before. Listen to this, dude. It's nuts. Okay, so I was showing footage from when I went to an airplane museum in Arizona before COVID. In Tucson, Arizona, there's the Pima Air and Space Museum. And the Pima Air and Space Museum is... Where is it? It's right here. See that? Right there. And it's across the street from the boneyard. From the U.S. Air Force's boneyard, where they store planes. They store them out in the desert because warm and dry, doesn't rust. There are planes that are like 60, 70 years old in the boneyard. They're fine. B-52s from the 60s, they're just sitting out there. They take parts off them to keep the fleet going, right? I mean, real, just standard parts salvaging stuff. So anytime they like retire a plane or they don't use it anymore, they give it over to Pima. So Pima has a bunch of stuff, dude. Oh, you've been there. Okay, right on, right on. When I did the tour, they let us go into the back lot, the restoration area. And check this out. You can see one of them right there. So it's not only planes, it's all the GSE for airplanes, right? See that thing right there? All the GSE for airplanes, they donate over here too. So right there is like a 95 or a 96 Ram airplane tug conversion. Dodge sold a bunch of these to the Air Force to move planes around. Guess what those have in them? Something that needs a lot of torque to be able to pull a C5 around. I'm not going to say which, and it's not that one right there. One of these buildings right here. I took a peek inside. There was like 46 BTs inside of it. And I went, oh my gosh. 40. No joke. No joke. It was like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but with Cummins engines. And I'm like, I didn't film it, right? We didn't film it when we went around the boneyard, dude, but oh my gosh. I like short-circuited, and like we were on our way out, so my cameraman was like, dude, we gotta go, the museum's closing. I'm like, you know, like, dude, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. I peeked my head in and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the mother load. It's the mother load, you know? Yeah, no, I was, dude, I was like, oh my God. They had all kinds of stuff, dude. There was, out here, they just have radial engines. There's just airplane engines just sitting out here. Jet motors. Dude, they had a couple of Rolls-Royce Merlin engines and Packard Merlin engines. They're just sitting out there. And you can just leave it outside. It's no problem. Just leave it outside. Dude, in the desert, leaving stuff outside is like, it would have been as well preserved if you keep something inside here. Like, Mick, where you and I are from, like, oh, dude, it was nuts. I couldn't believe how mint some of this stuff is. We found a Gloucester Meteor. England's first generation jet fighter. There's a Gloucester Meteor just sitting back there in pieces. And I'm like, this plane's 70 years old. 70. Totally mint. I couldn't believe it. Do you think they might have a brake return spring for your Datsun? I don't think it's that kind of junkyard. The only problem is rotting rubber and fabric. Yep, friend of mine has a Merlin engine on a trailer he runs up. It's crazy. Oh, the Merlin engine. What a masterpiece. What a masterpiece, dude. DC2 or DC3? Where, W? Well, they wouldn't have been DC3s. Most DC3s that you see flying around nowadays are C-47s. They were the Air Force variant. Or the Army Air Corps at the time. The Brits used them, we used them, France used them, everyone used C-47s. They were everywhere. Like, if you go and look, dude, check this out. The C-47, right? You look at the production numbers for the C-47, it's, like, they made thousands of these things. Like, look at this list. There's still people that use the upgraded version of these. Yeah, see, 10,000. They made 10,000 C-47s. And if you look at DC-3s, 600. Most of these that are flying are C-47s. Uses the leader every 60 seconds on idle. Well, hey, I mean, you want to go faster than the other guy, that's what you got to do. Rolling, rolling, turning, dive, doing it again. Love that song, man. There go the sirens that push out the airwaves. I love that song, man. That's one of my favorite Maiden songs, dude. Because it teaches you about Battle of Britain. That's really cool. Long live Eddie. That and Bruce Dickinson is the frickin' man. Like, what other front man flies the tour plane around when the band tours? That is the most legit thing. I love that Bruce Dickinson is a freaking nerd, dude. Big nerd. How many on export? DNF, I don't think that's including license built. The Soviet Union license built those things. They were called Li-2s. And who knows how many of those things that they made. Let's see. 6,000. Well, it's between 5,000 and 6,000. Li-2s, the Brits made them. Dude, everyone made these things. Need more cowbell. I know, right? What a guy. He's cool, man. All right, what's up, Flykin? Quick question. Can you tell if this is a